Have you ever really stopped to think about how the super rich buy things? I'm not talking about expensive stuff. I mean, insanely, outrageously expensive things. Like a $500 million super yacht. Well, it turns out they don't just, write a check. They play by a completely different set of financial rules. It's a strategy so clever, it's almost like a financial cheat code. So let's break down exactly how it works.
So let's just put ourselves in their shoes for a minute. You've built a massive company. Your net worth is just stratospheric, and you've decided you want to buy one of the biggest private ships on the planet. How in the world do you actually get your hands on that much cold, hard cash?
Well, you really have two main options. The first option is what you or I might do. Sell off your assets, in this case, a bunch of company stock, and just use the cash. The problem, that comes with a huge tax bill. But then there's option two, the one we're here to talk about. The billionaire's playbook for getting all that cash without the crippling tax hit. Okay, so first, we have to understand the problem they're trying to solve. When all of your wealth is tied up in stock, getting to it isn't as simple as just swiping a debit card. There's a big, hidden cost to cashing in. So the conventional wisdom, what some might call the Dave Ramsey way, is to live debt-free. If you need $500 million, you go and sell your assets to get that $500 million. But here's the catch. Because of taxes, you can't just sell $500 million worth of stock. Oh no, you'd have to sell way, way more. And this chart just shows you the brutal reality. To get that $500 million in cash for your yacht, you'd have to sell about $1 billion of your stock. So where'd the other $500 million go? Poof, it just vanishes. Gone to taxes. You lose half your money before you even get the keys. And for a billionaire, that is just not a smart way to do business. To really get the solution, we have to wrap our heads around this fundamental concept that the wealthy use all the time to protect themselves, and that is the crucial difference between control and ownership. So let's use Jeff Bezos as our example. You probably assume he owns Amazon, right? I mean, he founded it, but he actually only holds about 12% of the stock, and that specific number has some pretty huge legal implications. You see, there's this kind of legal line in the sand. Once your ownership stake in a company drops below a certain point, usually it's around 20%, you're not technically considered the owner anymore in the eyes of the law. And that simple distinction, it changes everything. So Bezos controls Amazon without legally owning it. This creates this incredible financial shield. If somebody sues him personally, the company's assets are totally protected. It's really the foundational strategy for protecting massive, massive wealth. All right, so now that we get that whole control versus ownership idea, let's walk through the exact playbook that was used to get the cash for this yacht, all without selling a single share of stock and, this is the important part, without paying a single dollar in tax on that money. The process itself is actually deceptively simple. First, he goes to a bank, but he doesn't ask for a normal loan. He offers up his Amazon stock as collateral. Now, he's not selling it, he's just pledging it. The bank sees this incredibly valuable, stable asset and, of course, is happy to provide the $500 million in cash. Then he takes that cash and buys the yacht. Simple as that. Now, this might sound pretty basic, but the real genius here is in why this strategy is so much better than just selling the stock. This is where the financial rules for the wealthy totally diverge from the advice the rest of us get. Remember that billion-dollar stock sale we talked about? Just forget it. Using this method, he gets the full $500 million he needs. No money is lost to taxes along the way. He gets 100% of the cash value he wanted right there in his account. And here it is, the absolute masterstroke. A loan is not income, it's debt. And because it's not income, it's not taxable. That entire $500 million tax bill we saw earlier, it's just gone. It completely disappears. He gets all the cash and he pays zero tax. And maybe the most important part of this whole thing? 0 shares were sold, not one. His main wealth-generating asset, his Amazon stock, is still completely intact, ready to keep growing in value for years to come. He hasn't given up a single piece of the golden goose. Okay, I know what you're probably thinking right now. That's great, but he still has a massive $500 million loan to pay back, right? And yes, of course he does. But the new asset he just bought, it's going to take care of that for him. He doesn't just let that yacht sit in a marina. It's an asset now. He can rent it out to his other super rich friends for just astronomical amounts of money. That rental income creates a whole new stream of cash flow, and that is what he uses to make the payments on the loan. The new asset literally pays for itself.
So let's just zoom out for a second and appreciate the powerful, long-term ideas at play here. Because this isn't just some one-off trick. It is a repeatable strategy for building and, more importantly, using incredible wealth.
And this isn't a short-term thing. We're talking about loans that might last for a decade. Over that whole time, the money from renting out the yacht pays down the debt. Then, at the very end of the loan term, the debt is gone, he owns the yacht free and clear, and the bank gives him back his Amazon stock.
This whole strategy really just boils down to a few core rules of wealth. First, you borrow against your assets that are going up in value. Second, and this is the big one, you never sell the asset that's making you wealthy. Third, you use that debt to buy new assets, and all the while your original pot of gold just keeps growing, probably way faster than the interest on your loan. Which really brings us to the final, brilliant question that makes this entire strategy work. Over the 10-year life of that loan, do you honestly think his Amazon stock is going to be worth more or less than it is today? If you're betting on more, then he didn't just get a yacht for free, he actually got richer in the process. It's an incredibly powerful financial loop, and it's exactly how billionaires play the game.